Have you ever stopped to think about how an ancient nomadic people could build a truly magnificent and portable sanctuary, all while wandering through a desert? Well, today, we're jumping right into the book of Exodus, chapter 36, to decode the ancient blueprint for the Tabernacle. It's an incredible story of faith, community, and absolutely breathtaking craftsmanship.
So, yeah, that's the big question, right? This wasn't just any old tent. We're talking about an intricate structure, packed with precious metals and stunning artistry, and, here's the kicker, it was all designed to be taken apart, moved across the desert, and then perfectly reassembled. It was a genuine engineering marvel for its time. So let's start by looking at who on earth made this all possible. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the construction itself, we have to talk about the people, because this monumental task wasn't ordered by some king or built by forced labor. Nope, this was, for all intents and purposes, a passion project on a massive national scale.
So, leading the charge were two master artisans, Bezalel and Aholiab, who were said to be filled with wisdom directly from God for this very task. But they weren't working alone, not by a long shot. A whole team of skilled workers, basically anyone whose heart stirred them to help, joined in. And beyond that, the entire community pitched in by donating all the raw materials. It was a true grassroots effort.
And when I say the community responded, I mean their response was just extraordinary. Instead of having to beg for donations, the leaders suddenly had a very unusual problem on their hands. The people were just too generous. Every single morning, more and more offerings of gold, silver, and fine linens kept pouring in. Can you even imagine that? The artisans literally had to go to Moses and say, hey, the people are bringing way too much stuff. Moses then had to send out a proclamation across the entire camp telling everyone to please stop donating. This incredible outpouring tells you everything you need to know about the community's absolute dedication to this project.
Okay, so we've got an enthusiastic crew and a surplus of materials. Now let's get into the actual how-to. We'll start with the very fabric of the tabernacle, the complex, multi-layered curtains that formed its walls and ceiling. It was really like a tent within another tent.
You know, the level of detail in the instructions is just astounding. It's not just make some curtains. It's make 10 curtains of this exact size with 50 loops on the edge of this one to meet 50 loops on that one. And this precision wasn't just for show. It was absolutely crucial for a modular structure that had to be put together and taken apart perfectly, time and time again.
So, imagine you're stepping inside. The first thing you'd see is this breathtaking inner layer of fine linen woven with these incredible designs of cherubim, angelic figures, in vibrant blue, purple, and scarlet. But all that beauty was protected. On top of that was a second layer of goat's hair, kind of like a weatherproof tent. Then came a covering of ram skins dyed red, and finally a tough outer layer of badger skins to shield the whole thing from the desert elements. It was this perfect mix of sacred art and rugged, practical engineering.
So how do you connect these massive sheets of fabric into one cohesive tent? The answer is a simple but really clever piece of hardware, tanches. Basically, these were just little clasps or hooks. For the inner, sacred curtains, they used 50 tanches made of pure gold. For the outer, more practical tent, they used 50 made of brass. These small connectors were what turned it all into one single unified structure.
All right, we've got the magnificent curtains woven and ready. But what held them all up? Now we're going to move from the soft woven fabrics to the solid, shimmering framework of the tabernacle itself.
And the scale of this thing was really impressive. Each individual board stood 10 cubits high. Now, a cubit is an ancient measurement, but that's about 15 feet or 4.5 meters tall. To put that into perspective for you, that's taller than your average one-story building. This was no simple tent. It was a towering structure meant to inspire total awe.
So as you can see from the layout, the tabernacle was a really sturdy, rectangular building. The two long walls, north and south, were each made of 20 boards. The back wall, the west side, was made of 6 boards, plus 2 extra for the corners to make it super strong. It was a simple but incredibly robust design, and it had to be, to stand up to the desert winds.
Okay, get ready for this, because the sheer amount of precious material involved here is just staggering. For just one of the long walls, you needed 20 boards of shittim wood, which was likely a tough, dense desert acacia. Each of those boards had 2 pegs that fit perfectly into 40 heavy sockets, cast from solid silver. The investment of wealth and resources for just one wall was absolutely immense. And as if solid silver foundations weren't impressive enough, get this, every single one of those 15-foot-tall wooden boards was completely covered, overlaid with pure gold. We're talking gold, which symbolizes divinity and royalty. Can you just picture it? The entire structure just shimmering in the desert sun. It wasn't just a shelter, it was a literal treasure box, a monument to the community's devotion.
Okay, so we've built the golden frame, we've hung the elaborate curtains, now let's step inside. The tabernacle wasn't just one big open room. It was carefully sectioned off by two absolutely magnificent woven veils.
So the inside was split by two main curtains. The most important one was the inner veil. This is what separated the holy place from the Holy of Holies, the most sacred innermost chamber. This veil hung on 4 pillars set in silver sockets. The second curtain was basically the front door, hanging on 5 pillars set in brass sockets. That subtle difference in materials, silver versus brass, was a huge indicator of the increasing holiness as you moved deeper into the sanctuary.
And the materials for these veils? They were fit for a king. We're talking fine linen, woven in shades of blue, purple, and scarlet, colors that in the ancient world were deeply connected with royalty and the divine. The hooks and the pillars themselves were made of gold. Every single component was crafted from the most precious and beautiful materials they had, reflecting the incredible sanctity of the space.
So, in the end, the tabernacle was so much more than a building. It was a masterpiece of portable architecture, an absolute testament to the skill of its makers. But I think more importantly, it was a symbol of an entire community's shared faith and their astounding, unrestrained generosity. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the monuments that we, as a society, are building today? And what do they say about what we truly value?